Hi, this is Tutor P, and this is Quotes 155. Today, we're going to look at a quote we're going to look at a couple of quotes. One by David Janda, and then also by an anonymous representative from health insurance companies. So, let's take a look. First, who is David Janda? David Janda was advisor to several presidents on healthcare programs. Um, Dr. David Janda is the author of a book called The Awakening of a Surgeon. So the awakening is because he finally realized how the whole thing works and why it's so difficult to have healthcare in our government. And that's basically what his book is about. All right, let's continue here. David Janda found ways to help cut insurance costs by promoting prevention. Yeah, when he first came up with this idea, I think Reagan was in office, and Reagan was actually for it, but it was towards the end of his term. And then when he ended, the next several presidents did not like this idea because obviously Big Pharma, the big drug companies, don't like it. You hate to say it, but I mean, according to what David Janda says, they almost prefer that you get sick because that's their business. They make money. They sell their medicines. If you don't get sick, they don't make money. And but he thought that the insurance companies should be happy because he thought, well, he'd be saving money from the insurance companies because these people getting sick, they'd have to pay out less money. But he found out that he was also wrong about this. So let's continue. He figured out ways that maybe if there was a policy, let's say, for example, somebody was paying $1,000 a month in health insurance, with his prevention, maybe he could bring it down to about 100. That would be very, very reasonable, only paying $100 a month for the health insurance. But the health insurance companies, according to the government, they can only charge 7% above whatever that cost is. So let's continue here. Now, this was the anonymous representative of the health insurance. So one day, one of them finally went to visit him, and he couldn't understand why the health insurance companies were not, putting up money for this, because he thought they'd be saving money. But he found out it's the total opposite. This is what the health insurance representative said. He said, the higher insurance costs go and health care costs go, the bigger cut of the pie we get. That's why we will oppose everything you do. So the insurance company actually wants the costs to be higher because the higher the costs are, the more they can get their cut, the more they can get their percentage. So they don't really care about the people. It seems like Big Pharma, also the drug company, they don't want you to be healthy because then they don't have business either. So, and then of course, David Janda gave this answer. He said, this model can only work for so long until it gets to the point where they can no longer pay because they keep raising the cost and raising the cost and raising the cost. They can no longer afford your product. So one day it'll get to the point where the health insurance have raised their costs so much that people just can't afford to buy the insurance anymore. And then the anonymous representative said, that's when the government is going to bail us out. So again, the taxpayer will be the one that would be hit with that. If the government bails out them, then that goes more to the people's taxes as well. So that helps to enslave the taxpayer again. So this is what David Janda brought out. This is part of what's actually in his book, The Awakening of a Surgeon. He also went on to talk about in some of the meetings that he had with the White House. He noticed that the media reported the total opposite of what was said and what happened at the meeting. And he went back like one time the next day in one of these interviews, and he says, "Hey, we should talk to your communications director. They made a big mistake. Everything I seen on the news was the total opposite of what was reported." And he said in the government, they actually laughed at him. Ha 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 ha. That's exactly what we told the media to report. That's what he's saying. He's saying he used the word newbie, like, oh, you don't understand this? That's the way the things go. And that's when David Janda said that he first realized that about fake news, that a lot of the stuff that's reported on the media is just propaganda. Anyway, I hope you got it. I hope it's clear. Thank you for your time.